Hey guys, welcome back to the Chris the Freelancer podcast. I'm here with Julian Goldie.
Hey man, how's it going, bro?
I'm good. Thanks for taking up this interview request on such short notice.
No worries.
I asked you like 2 hours ago, I think.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it was.
And for those of you who are listening and not watching online, we are at Tinko
Coworking Space.
Tinko Coworking Space in Medellin, Colombia. Another one of, you've been basically going to all the different co-working spaces and checking them out and reporting back to me, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty much trying every single one.
Yeah.
Free passes.
Yeah, it's surprising that there's so many co-working spaces in Medellin. I've hardly even left the small area that I've been staying in El Poblado to explore even more of them, but this one's kind of like off Poblado, I guess.
Yeah, that's it, a little bit out, but still, yeah, it's crazy how many co-working spaces are out here.
Yeah.
Seems like an endless list all over Medellin.
Yeah, and you've been here how long now?
Couple of weeks, I think, something like that. Yeah.
And you've just been going to new co-working spaces almost every day.
Pretty much every single day. Free passes. But no, it's cool. Try out loads of different places, definitely. Yeah.
And your favourite so far?
Probably this one.
Really?
Yeah, it's really nice. I like the views from the 15th floor. It's good. Coffee's good. And La Casa Redonda as well. It's pretty good. Yeah.
Have you looked at the prices of any of these, or
No, I don't even want to ask you.
Yeah, because that's the thing with getting the free passes. You're like, yeah, I love this, but oftentimes you haven't even looked at the price yet, you know?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, you get a taste of the high life, and then it could be like $500 or something. But no, I don't actually know how much this is.
Yeah.
Maybe I should ask.
I had the same sort of experience in Gran Canaria in Las Palmas. I went to Co-working C, and I organized it with Nacho, the founder of that space, because I was doing a video on Nomad City, which was his event as well.
Yeah.
And then it never occurred to me that was like one of the most expensive ones in Las Palmas. And I was like, oh shit. There was like another one, Coco, that I went to that was like half the price. But speaking of pricing,
Yep.
How have you found overall Medellin prices?
It's been pretty cheap, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, I was trying to work out my expenses the other day, and I think it's around $900 a month, something like that.
Okay.
So I'm paying like $200 for an apartment, which comes with like swimming pool, gym, even a table tennis thing, and probably spending about $10 to $15 a day on food.
Okay.
So real cheap.
And you're just doing 2 meals a day, right?
Yeah, that's it. Intermittent fasting. Yeah. So it's crazy cheap. How have you found it?
Well, it's kind of random.
Yeah.
Because I think the things that are cheap are like Ubers.
Yeah.
I found Uber really cheap. Housing is not incredibly cheap.
Depends where you go, doesn't it?
Yeah. I guess I am staying in like the most touristy area, the most central kind of expensive area.
Yeah, I heard like El Poblado is like 50% extra, something like that for pricing. Yeah.
Because you're in Envigado, right?
Yeah, it's really cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you looked at El Poblado, or you?
I looked at it, but I wanted to sort of improve my Spanish a bit, so
Okay.
I heard it's Gringo land in El Poblado, right?
Yeah.
So I thought if I'm going to learn a bit of Spanish, maybe Envigado's a better area.
Yeah. No, I found it that the English level overall here hasn't been that high.
Yeah.
So even in El Poblado, apart from if you go to like I don't know, like a co-working space or something touristy, where they interact with foreigners a lot.
Yeah.
And Spanish is the kind of language where it's like it's easy to learn a little bit of it. It's not like in Thailand, whereas a lot of Thai people could speak at least a little bit of English, I think, because they had to.
Yeah.
But in here, I feel like, especially with all the Americans and then us as well, like we can just do a few hours of Spanish language training and we know how to say a few things and get a few things across.
You can guess sometimes too. You can't really guess in Thai, can you?
No. Yeah. And I just use my broken Spanish. My how many lessons? 24 lessons of Pimsleur now.
Oh yeah.
And it gets me by. Yeah, it gets me by. I just I'll form half a conversation basically when I'm ordering food, like at Subway, for example. And, I'm just like, todos. Todos
ensalada, por favor. But I think the English way, usually, if we go abroad, it's like we speak louder and slower.
Yeah.
That seems to work as well sometimes. If you're completely lost.
Yeah. The good thing about Pimsleur actually is that the phrases that they say in the program, they repeat it so much that you internalize it exactly as how they've said it. Oh, nice. And then you end up using their like accent as well, which I think is important. But then when you start to form new sentences that haven't been covered in Pimsleur, then you're like, okay, and then you're pausing in between different words to try and get it together.
Did you try Duolingo as well?
No, I haven't. No. I've tried. I used to do Rosetta Stone.
Oh yeah, I've tried that for Italian actually.
Yeah, but I don't know how you found it, but there was they start off with boy and girl always, and then they you learn more about grammar and how to form a sentence than useful stuff.
Yeah.
So like in Japanese, for example, I know how to say a girl is reading a book, or a guy is running, or eats rice, or something like that, which is highly unpractical,
This is what I found with Duolingo as well. It's like, there's a certain point where you're learning the most random sentences and words that you're never going to use in your life.
Yeah.
It's like the cat is red and eats spiders.
I guess it helps you with like forming sentences, but it's not really good to like start out with vocab. That's really why I like Pimsleur. But I don't want to talk all day about language. Medellin, we're talking a little bit about the prices. What is you're here for like a month or so? Or?
Yeah, that's it. Leaving in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, 4 weeks in total.
And so, what are the other aspects that you are liking or disliking about Medellin?
I think it's a really beautiful place. It's in the mountains. The internet is ridiculously quick like everywhere you go, pretty much, apart from your apartment that's it's quite a different. Before I was in Asia, like you were in Thailand and Indonesia, I think like Colombia is very different, isn't it, as a place?
Yeah.
At
the same time, I almost feel like it feels like Chiang Mai a little bit, and I'm trying to figure out why. And then I realize like every day that I've been here, I'm pretty sure every day I've either bumped into people like that I know unplanned, or like have the plan to get together. And so it feels like a small world, at least in the area I'm staying in, Pacayiras. Mm-hmm. It feels like a small world the way the Niman area in Chiang Mai felt like a small world.
Yeah, I know what you mean, definitely. Yeah, it's got a great community of people.
Yeah.
And there seems to be, especially in El Poblado, like ridiculous amounts of people working online.
Yeah.
So I'm sure like once you live it for a few months, you bump into people all the time.
Yeah. I mean, you can tell by the amount of co-working spaces and stuff that people are locals as well, that there's a lot of I guess freelancing and remote work, and I guess small business. I was at Salina yesterday and I was surprised at how many like locals were working out of there. For those of you who don't know, Salina's a hostel brand. They're trying to create a different experience. They don't want to be called hostels, they're trying to be Salina's, like their own definition of a hostel, but essentially it's like a hostel, and they've put in a co-working space in a lot of their locations around Latin America. And so I wasn't expecting like a whole section of permanent deskers in the local area. And I think that, if Salina, a brand that's all about nomads and backpackers and travel, has that many locals, and then judging from the amount of co-working spaces we've seen, the co-working scene here must be booming. Yeah,
I mean, there was one place I went to yesterday, actually. It seems like everyone's trying to run a co-working space here. Like, I went to this office yesterday, to a co-working space, and it actually turned out just to be someone's office, and we were the first people to find it off coworker.com. And pretty much we had the whole place to ourselves for the whole day. Nice. And it was like just a desk in someone's random office in a bank.
Yeah. It happens.
Yeah.
I've been to a space like that in Copenhagen, actually.
Yeah.
I could go on a story about that, but I want to stay on topic. So it's been, I mean, the last time I saw you it was Chiang Mai, and then now here in Medellin. Coincidentally, I don't think I saw on Facebook that you're in Playa del Carmen, and then the first full day we had in Medellin, I rock up to the Global Express co-working space, and there you are. So there's a bit of catching up to do. I mean, you what happened after we sort of saw each other in Chiang Mai? You've traveled to a few different places, right?
Yeah, that's it. I went to stayed in Bali, Myanmar. Went back to England for a little bit, and then Playa del Carmen. Nice. I planned to stay in Mexico for a while. But it was a little bit intense. So good. You're going there soon, right?
Yes. So we're doing the opposite. You came from Playa del Carmen, and now I'm going to Playa del Carmen after this. I would have thought that Medellin would be more intense and more dangerous than Playa del Carmen, but you got the feeling that Playa del Carmen maybe.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, my last week there, to be honest, it didn't really affect tourists that much, but there's a lot of I think recently there's been a lot of trouble with narcos. So there was like one grenade went off, 3 shootings, 1 mall set on fire, all in 1 week. And you got to be, I don't know if I should say it, but you got to be careful with the police too. That's kind of why I left.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, what about the other places you've traveled to? Have, I think once you spend a long time in Chiang Mai, you start to compare everything to Chiang Mai, and the conditions, I think you would agree, in Chiang Mai are pretty awesome.
Perfect, aren't they?
Yeah. Have you found any other winners?
I really like Canggu. I mean, that was a cool place. It's kind of similar to Chiang Mai, so you got a really good community. It's crazy cheap, and a good co-working space there as well. Dojo, I really like that place. And also I find a lot of people in Chiang Mai, they say it's perfect, but there's no beach, and Canggu actually has a beach, so it was cool.
We had Johnny on the last episode of this podcast, and we were talking kind of about the kind of inconveniences of Bali. Did any of that get to you? I mean, the roads and how ride sharing is illegal, and internet, unless you go to a co-working space, can be patchy, and
there was a couple of things like that. I mean, I heard about you've got these signs that Uber's illegal everywhere, but everyone still seems to use it, and it seems to work okay.
Did you ever take an Uber from Canggu, or?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
A couple of times, yeah. Okay. But I've heard of people ordering Ubers and no one ever turning up as well. So, and I've heard of locals coming down with baseball bats and chucking them out of the Uber as well. So.
Yeah, I heard that as well. We didn't actually stay in Canggu when we were in Bali, but when we went to Canggu, we saw the big signs, and then we couldn't book an Uber from there, and then we had to pay for these ridiculously priced taxis that it's just totally monopolized. It's one taxi stand, and then they this is how much it costs, and I really hate that. I don't want it's not about the cost. It's just about kind of creating different tiers and being unfair with the pricing, I guess. So
if they've got a monopoly, they can sort of charge what they want, can't they?
And I've seen it in Thailand as well, Phuket. To get from one beach to another was 400 baht or something.
And it's the same price everyone you ask.
And everyone you ask, same flat fee, which for those of you listening, 400 baht is what, 10 euros. So that's $15 or something, which is really expensive for a taxi ride in Thailand. Chiang Mai, we were paying geez, to get anywhere be under like 60 baht, I guess.
Yeah, so you could get a songthaew for like 20 baht, was it?
Yeah.
That's crazy cheap.
Yeah. It's hard to beat Chiang Mai.
The thing is, you get these, you know, when you leave Chiang Mai, you get these like almost like withdrawal symptoms where, like you say, you compare everything to Chiang Mai. It's like, this is good, but it's better in Chiang Mai. It's cheaper in Chiang Mai, or you know.
I feel like it took me like a month or two, but then I got over it. I think the whole comparing everything to Chiang Mai, and it's funny how your perception changes of cost of things, especially because I remember when something was like the equivalent of $8 to $10 in Chiang Mai, I'd be like, oh, this is too expensive. I'm not going to pay this. And now, like, you know, for like I don't know, I've been paying similar like that pretty much every meal, you know?
It's actually, even if you want to, it's hard to spend a lot of money in Chiang Mai.
Yeah.
I think, especially for food.
Yeah.
You know, you can go to like the nicest places and they're max $15, you know? Yeah.
And that's what I've found in Medellin. The one thing that's kind of been interesting with the prices is food and coffee, because it almost feels random. Like, I was speaking to a friend of mine who went on Nomad cruise. He's like, I went on TripAdvisor on the cheap eats section and ended up, I think he like paid £10 for a meal on like, and this was on the cheap eats section. But at the same time, I've been to like really nice places. Like, I went to Selena. We ate at Selena last night, and we had two really nice chili con carne, I think is how you pronounce it. Yeah. And came out to about 13 Australian dollars, which is like half that to get pounds, or what is it, maybe $8 US or something. And that's for two people. And then coffee as well, like you go to a chain and you're paying like maybe $2 US, but then you go to like a really nice cafe and you're paying $1, and it just seems really random.
It is random, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, I got me and Saul, we got a Domino's yesterday, a large one each, and it was traditional Colombian food, like, and it was only like $7 each, which is crazy cheap for a huge pizza, you know? Okay. Yeah. So it just seemed really random. But also I heard as well, like, a couple of years ago, it used to be, like, the exchange rate has fallen for Colombian pesos, right? Okay. Recently. So it used to be like 30%, 20% expensive, more expensive like a few years ago, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of a cheap rate at the minute, you know?
Yeah. A lot of people from, I mean, it's definitely more inexpensive than, North America. Yeah. Right. And I think most people that are coming here are expats, are from that region. Yeah. And they comment on how cheap it is, but it's a similar situation with Gran Canaria, you know. It depends on what you're comparing it to.
Yeah, it's not Chiang Mai prices.
It's not Chiang Mai prices. But yeah, I'd probably class it in the low to reasonable range, like more cheaper than Gran Canaria, I'd say. Las Palmas, Gran Canaria.
Definitely cheaper than Europe.
Yeah, definitely. Sure. But then, I'll be going to US and Mexico later this year, so we'll see how that goes. You found it a bit cheaper in Playa del Carmen? Or?
Yeah, I mean, you could go out and get tacos for like $2 in Playa del Carmen. Nice. But it was kind of the opposite. So, like, if you wanted an apartment like 2 minutes from the beach, that was like $500 a month. Yeah. So it's twice the price that I'm paying now. Okay. But then food was crazy cheap and really, really nice. Okay. Yeah, so it's kind of flips. Yeah.
I guess, because you're staying in Envigado as well, maybe if you're staying somewhere similar to us.
Yeah, probably if I was in El Poblado, it'd be a bit more.
Yeah, because I'm finding it, we're finding it cheaper per night in Playa del Carmen, but I guess we're getting monthly, so that makes a huge difference. True. Yeah. The last thing I'll say on Medellin is phone data. I don't know if you've... What plan are you on with?
I think I got 2 gigs for about $15, something like that, per month.
Yeah. Don't you find that that's probably one of the most expensive plans I've had since I've been traveling?
Yeah, I think I paid a similar price in England when I used to live in Manchester. It was the same price. Yeah.
Anyway, I'll be talking about all these things in my I'll be doing a blog post on Medellin, so we can talk more in depth about this these kind of Medellin specific things.
Yeah.
But it's good to get another person's perspective.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Always.
And a veteran of Medellin of an extra week.
A 2-week veteran.
Yeah, a 2-week veteran.
Buy my course.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that's business, I guess. We haven't talked too much about yourself yet.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell people like what you do and what your focus is on now?
Yeah. So at the minute, I'm a sort of, I guess, a copywriter mainly. So I copyright on UpWork and I sell ebooks on Fiverr.
Yeah.
And trying to turn words into money, I guess.
Yeah.
So been doing that for about 2 years now. Working on UpWork for about a year. Yeah. And it's all going good.
Oh.
Yeah.
What was in the first year you were focused on Fiverr, or you were trying to start an online business, or?
Yeah, I mean the first year I was working online was pretty tough. You know, like I started off just writing blogs, whereas now I sell sales copy.
Mm-hmm.
And I was working for like ridiculously low prices.
Yeah.
I mean, to the point where, you know, it's like maybe less than minimum wage an hour.
Yeah.
And you know, Indians would outsource to me, for example.
That's
I mean, like, if you can get like 500 words for $5, then, you know,
Yeah, you were doing that for.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I was at the point where I was like, I'd do anything to work online. So
was that a strategy to build up a profile and experience?
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
and get a taste for working online to the point where I could quit my full-time job.
Yeah.
Whereas now, in contrast, like, you know, on Monday, for example, I earned $500 in one day. So sort of shows the progression into years. Yeah.
But that's good to hear that. I think it's a realistic picture, more of a realistic picture, that it does take time to kind of build this stuff.
It's a grind. Yeah. There's no shortcuts, I don't think.
What do you think is the hardest part? Because I found that the mistake, well, not the mistake, but the thing I didn't expect was I was like building my skills as a web developer, but then what I wasn't kind of doing was learning how to sell myself online and kind of position my services online. And I'm using business terminology, but you basically have to find a way to market yourself when you're when you're a free agent, you know.
It's a big thing, yeah. Your influence.
Yeah. So I guess what was your career before?
So before I was a marketer, well, sort of like sales marketer in recruitment.
Oh, okay.
And that was boring as hell.
Okay. But at least you had, I guess, some of those skills transfer over to what you do now?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'd already got a taste for like working online and digital marketing. Although back then my sales copy actually sucked, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, it was really, really bad. So it was like a steep learning curve in the last couple of years. Yeah.
And I guess you read a bunch of books and did some courses.
Yeah, I studied a load of like Dan Kennedy was the main guy I sort of learned off, but studied all sorts, all the top sort of marketers. Yeah.
Is there anything in particular that you found really helpful?
Yeah, so
copywriting.
What I did was, well, I guess you got to focus on psychology and understanding people. I guess it's a big thing.
Yeah.
But one of the quickest ways I learned was probably just by doing and just testing results. So as soon as I started working for people and there's a bit of pressure to produce results, you got to sort of bridge that gap, and that's where you improve most. Maybe you found it the same. I don't know.
I haven't been pushed much actually in the web development space.
It's chilled over there.
Well, I just somehow have attracted people that don't know basic stuff, and then anything I do is like magic to them, you know.
Yeah, I can see what you mean. Yeah. It's always going to be a big step up. Yeah.
But with copywriting, I've heard that from a few people that you learn by, actually it's the same thing with web development, or any kind of programming, but I've heard that from copywriting as well. And another friend of mine who's been on the podcast, Colin, he did something like a power hour or something, or like every day write some stuff in the morning as a practice. And do you do anything like that to practice, or you just, I guess, if you have enough work, that's kind of your practice?
Well, the other thing I do as well is like I've got a couple of sales funnels that I set up personally, like personal websites. So and I use PPC ads to sort of test what's working and what's not. So I can see pretty quickly like what people are clicking on, what interests people, what absolutely doesn't work pretty quickly. So at the minute I'm testing that as well, just to sort of step up my sales copy.
Okay. Do you want to talk a little bit about your current project, or?
Yeah, can do. Yeah. So.
Or is it top secret?
Nah, it's not top secret.
I know sometimes in the internet marketing world, you know, people, I don't know, it's not in their best interest to share too much, but I don't know if that's a similar thing for you, or? No,
I mean, well, I've got a website that teaches people how to make money online, and sort of mostly focuses on Fiverr at the minute, called kingpassive.com.
Nice.
And so I'm building a list through that. It's got about 1,500 subscribers at the minute. So there's a sales funnel in place that sends people, I don't know, like blogs and different pieces of advice on how to make money online. But then, of course, at the same time, I'm going to advise to buy my book and stuff like that as well. So I've got a book on like how to make money on Fiverr.
Yeah. Okay.
As well. So.
Would you consider the Fiverr thing, I guess, a big break in your nomad career?
I mean, for me, it's like the first thing I learned was Fiverr. I mean, if you want to learn how to make money online, it's probably the best way to do it. For me personally, anyway, because you get free traffic. It's like one of the biggest websites in the US right now. And you can pretty much sell anything on there. You know, like for my dad's birthday, I hired someone to write my dad's name and happy birthday, and then slap his belly and dance in the jungle, for example, and that was $5. So I mean.
So he wrote "Happy Birthday, Dad" on his belly.
Yeah, right. Happy
and then he went to the jungle.
And then he went to the jungle, and. But it's awesome, and actually that sells quite a lot. Looking at his reviews, so I mean, Fiverr's pretty cool because it's not professional. You don't have to be professional on there. And the limit is just your own creativity. So yeah.
I always wonder though with those weird things, like if it was to become a successful business, what that like would do to you, and then people would be, what do you do? Oh, I'm a successful write name on my belly and dance. But I guess actually the thing about Fiverr is you can start to. Once you got the sales coming in, you can start to outsource, right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you can outsource it.
Yeah, so you can get somebody else to ride on their belly and dance in the jungle.
Yeah, that's it. You can train like a whole team of belly dancers. So yeah, you can scale it up as well with Fiverr. That's the thing. Yeah, if the demand is there, you can.
Yeah, because Steph, who's been on the podcast as well, she had a Fiverr gig for feminine logos.
Oh, yeah.
And, she's got Fiverr, sending her sales all the time because she ranks highly for that.
Yeah, I mean, she's absolutely killing it. Yeah.
And then she got, an intern in to kind of take over that business. So it's good that Fiverr can become, I guess, a marketing machine for some people. It's not going to trap you, I guess. The service doesn't necessarily have to come from the seller personally.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, personally, like I said, I was slaving away writing blogs for $5 an hour before. Whereas on Fiverr, whereas 2 years later, it's pretty much passive, just selling ebooks online.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, once you work Fiverr out, you can pretty easily scale it, but also make it passive too.
Okay. Yeah. Has it? I guess Fiverr changes. Has it changed a lot since you started on it? Because it seems like a platform that's growing and evolving. Have you found that for instance what you're doing? Is there still an opportunity for people nowadays to get in and sell info products on Fiverr? And
yeah, definitely. I think now more than ever, definitely.
Okay.
So I mean, for example. Last year, they changed it from $5 an order, which was the absolute maximum you could earn for one order, to I think it goes up to $1,000 for one order. So That was like a huge change they put in. And then also they seem to be constantly adding features. So there's like an affiliate scheme now.
Yeah.
Where if you sign people up and they buy from you, you make $5 a purchase. And then there's like other features like available now, where if someone's looking for a gig in your niche, it pops up with like an available now feature on your gig. So people know you're online and ready to deliver their order. Yeah. So it seems like they're constantly innovating and adding new features. Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, and I got an email about Fiverr Pro as well. I don't know if you looked into that.
Yeah, they're like, I mean, I haven't actually applied for it myself, but they basically handpick different sellers on Fiverr, and I think you get like some ways to attract more clients and more customers.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's crazy for a platform that probably just started off as quite a small idea. It's absolutely huge now.
Yeah.
You know, in fact, I saw there was a stat recently that said it's like one of the top 100 websites in the US.
Really?
And there's a lot of competition for that spot. So yeah, it's incredible.
Okay, and then the switch to, well, not really switch, but what made you decide to start on UpWork? And
well, the thing is, I found, you know, with Fiverr, the nature of Fiverr is that people are looking for bargains and they're looking for value, and it's more about buying cheap rather than getting really high quality products.
Yeah.
I think it's changed a little bit now.
Yeah.
But from my experience, that's what most customers are like. Whereas if you go on UpWork, like, you got clients who, if you can deliver a great service, they're willing to pay a bit extra for it. You know.
Yeah.
And for example, like I said, earning $500 in a day.
Yeah.
Is the chances are very, very slim on Fiverr compared to UpWork, you know.
Yeah.
UpWork, you're gonna earn more money, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah. If you price right. if you go in bidding for jobs on really low rates, you're not gonna make any money. But if you value your services and you position yourself as a sort of high quality person, then you're gonna make more money.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I guess for people starting out, would you recommend people take a similar path of testing things out with Fiverr first, or doing both at the same time, Fiverr and UpWork, or I don't know if you've done any other platforms or personal networking as well, or
yeah. So I mean, like, I'd recommend starting off on Fiverr first, because it's a good way. Like, if you mess up on Fiverr, it's not the end of the world.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can. Whereas on UpWork, like, I think it's much more heavily based on reviews and feedback and that sort of thing.
Okay.
And then also, I think that with Fiverr, you've got like this analytics feature, so you can see what your click-through rate is, what your conversion rates are. You can test different sales messages.
Yeah.
On UpWork, you don't get that at all. You're playing with you know, you can't see your hand, basically.
Yeah, you don't put out offers.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So on Fiverr, you can quickly learn what's working and what's not. Whereas on UpWork, it's a bit more difficult.
Yeah.
I think the term for it is like productized services, you know, like putting your service out there at like a fixed price of like, here's what you pay, here's what you get.
Yeah.
Almost like a product, and people buy the product. Which is good training for business, because a lot of people like to buy that way. You know, they like to buy in packages.
Yeah, it's like neatly organized, isn't it? And you know what you're getting for that package and how much. Yeah.
Like, for me, as a freelancer, I still like that whole getting paid by hour thing, because I like that my time, I'm going to put in the time, and I'm definitely going to be compensated for my time.
Yeah.
But from the client's perspective, I mean, they're just wanting value. So if you can say like, oh, I do this, and here's what you pay. That's like, Sergio talked about this on the cruise, like the value-based pricing over the hourly. I think from the freelancer's perspective, they often like to be paid hourly, but clients, you know, they like value.
Yeah.
Because they don't really care how many hours you work at the end of the day. It's
it's about what they get at the end of it, isn't it, I guess?
Yeah.
And I guess as well, if some of these guys have got budgets they need to stick to,
Yeah.
It's kind of much harder with hourly rates, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, when I used to work in a company before, there were a lot of projects where if you needed some changes or you needed to get some feedback on something, it would go way over budget, and it would cost a hell of a lot more. And that's like, I don't know. As a client, you've got to answer for that.
Yeah. It can become a whole battle, and you need project managers and negotiators and all this stuff, and managing scope. Oh man, politics.
Did you used to work in the corporate sort of?
No. Oh, I did. Well, my experience with corporate was the 4 internships in accounting that I did.
You used to work in accounting, bro?
Yeah. They had 2 of them were with Big Four.
Yeah.
One was with a national firm, and the other one was with a small shop.
Wow.
And I kind of got a taste test of, each tier.
Yeah.
And I did not like it at all. And it's probably not surprising given your laughter about me doing accounting.
No, I mean, I laugh as well because like it was something I wanted to do when I first came out of uni.
Oh, okay.
And then I realised I was terrible at maths. So.
See, I got drawn into it because I was like, oh, I'm good with numbers. And then I liked accounting 101, which is just like, it's like almost like personal finance. Like it's good to know where your money's going, like accounts receivable and accounts payable and all that. And then, so I took it up and then realized like, oh, it's all like rules and regulations and playing by the book and all this kind of, paperwork, bureaucracy, which is totally not what I'm into. But yeah, I was just one of those university kids who were like, oh, I need to get a career going.
Oh, man, I know that feeling.
Yeah.
It's like it's time to grow up now. I'm 21 out of uni. Yeah. I don't know, but then you soon get disillusioned with that, right?
Oh,
a year or 2 of doing that, it's killer.
I'm glad I needed something to motivate me, so I'm glad I found out about the digital nomad stuff because nothing motivated me more than like travel, and I knew I was interested in digital stuff, and I don't really want to like be a backpacker. I've seen.
Yeah. A twat packer.
Yeah.
No, okay, let's go.
I don't want to like hate on backpackers, but I just see this image of like, being dirty and drinking all day at like a hostel and sharing bathrooms with people and just like not really doing anything apart from obviously exploring the world, which is interesting, and meeting new people.
Yeah, I think it's probably fun, but maybe not sustainable for a few years.
Not even that. I need to travel with a purpose often,
Yeah.
I just don't want to, like, now what drives me with the travel often is exploring the world for digital nomads, and then also that feeds into my project,
Yeah.
So I'm still like traveling with a purpose, and also like you don't want to be maybe doing, I don't know, it depends on what kind of person you are, but I don't want to be doing like tours every day, and I want to make it sustainable, obviously, and kind of live into places, not pass through them. So
yeah, I can see what you're saying. Actually, I think as well, like being on holiday somewhere is very different to living somewhere.
Yeah,
especially if you're doing it for a few months. You sort of you see a different side of cities that you go to, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that's where you get the benefits as well, because a flight from Australia to Thailand is going to be more than your rent for the month, and then so if you can like stretch it out longer, the cost per day is going to be incredibly much lower. Like I met when I went back home after the first year of nomading, I talked to an old friend, and he's like, I went to Thailand for 9 days and spent $4,000 or something like that.
Jesus.
And I was just like,
that's actually impressive. Like, how the hell did you do that?
apparently he stayed at that hotel from Hangover Part 2 and like had glasses of champagne there and stuff. It's like all the things that you could do in Thailand to waste money.
Yeah.
And Bangkok's a city in which you can waste money, whereas in Chiang Mai, like, man, what would be the most expensive restaurant there? Like,
I was speaking to someone, and he was, I think he was taking his family to Chiang Mai, and he said he was he usually books somewhere for like $100 a night, like wherever he goes in the world. And he was looking in Chiang Mai, and it was just like almost impossible to find that, you know.
Places.
He was really struggling. Yeah. It was like, I want to spend more money, but I can't.
Yeah. Somebody in my video living under 600, I said you can live anywhere from $200 to $2,000 a month, and people were like, "Oh, you should do a challenge, $2,000 a month." And I'm like, that is probably more of a challenge than living under $600, because where are you going to find the opportunity to spend that amount of money? I mean, if you stay in a hotel every night and pay the nightly rate and then only eat at tourist restaurants. Actually, I met another couple that from Australia. He's Australians.
Australian.
That spent more in Chiang Mai than they did living in Melbourne.
Yeah.
And,
what? How?
What?
I mean, like, this is the same place where you can buy like a pad thai for 40 baht, which is essentially $1.
Yeah, I think it's like €1.
Yeah.
They just went to that was it Library Cafe? Was that going when you were in Chiang Mai?
No, I think I went to that.
So they like renovated it, and then you could get an all-you-can-eat buffet for, it was like Sizzler. If you have Sizzler in the I know
it. I've seen it in Chiang Mai. Sizzler, yeah.
It's like Sizzler, and I think we were paying like less than 200 baht for an all-you-can-eat buffet, including a plate of steak and like
crazy.
chips or something.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I mean, you're paying at least 3 times that in England.
Yeah.
At least. Yeah.
England was ridiculous. And I went like right after Chiang Mai. So that was, and here we are circling back to Chiang Mai.
Yeah, that's it. Are you going back next year?
I don't know. I'm going to be, I've got to figure out, because I guess last year was like my first year as a nomad, and I was just figuring out everything, and I spent a lot of time in Thailand, but I always had this goal of seeing the rest of the world. 2017 has been the year where I've done that. Traveled. This year I will have gone to all the destinations I wanted to check out, except for Lisbon.
Oh yeah, I really want to check out too, actually. Yeah, I heard good things. Yeah. And
the big dream I had actually was to go on the Nomad cruise. I'm wearing the Nomad cruise shirt right now, actually. And yeah, I just finished editing the video today, and I was just like, shit, that was like my biggest goal in terms of what I do, because I see that as like the holy grail of like digital nomad events.
You can retire now.
Yeah. And so I'm like, well, what do I do next year now, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know what the next year holds for me, to be honest. I think I'm gonna try some new things and live a little bit differently, I think. Yeah, and I want to be more adventurous and go to places that aren't on the digital nomad trail, as I call them.
Yeah, I'm trying to do that this year, actually. Yeah. So like Peru in November, for example.
Nice.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're staying there for
a month?
A month?
Yeah.
So you're going to have to get some work done.
Yeah, that's true, somehow. Yeah. I think the internet will be alright there, won't it?
Yeah, but maybe. it depends on what environments you can work in, because I know myself, I like having co-working spaces and kind of like ergonomics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. Oh, we've got the camera running out of battery. I've been using that as my like indicator of when to wrap it up.
Okay, that's a good idea.
Yeah. So thanks so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you.
Is there anything you want the audience to check out from on your side? What is it again? King Passive.
KingPassive.com. Check it out.
Yeah.
And if you want some inspiration for Fiverr as well, check out my Fiverr account, Julian Goldie.
Is that just in one word?
Yeah, just Fiverr.com/Julian Goldie.
Excellent. And of course, all the links we mentioned will be in the show notes. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Now that we're on video and audio, I will see you guys in the next podcast.
See you.
Bye. Hey guys, thanks for listening. For show notes, head to christhefreelancer.com/podcast. Be sure to hit subscribe, and I'll see you on the next episode.